Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And Darryl, this is episode 514, A Fistful of Daddy Issues.
You should have added and Victors to it as well.
And Victors?
Considering. Yes, it's Victors. I mean, you know I'm going to have to talk about it, right?
About what?
About the national champions, Michigan Wolverines, winning their first national championship.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the UCLA Lady Bruins. My bad.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I fell asleep. You were talking about women's basketball. But congratulations to the Lady Bruins as well. Mm-hmm. They just, as Yaxel Lindeborg says, put belt to ass.
Belt to ass.
Longhorn.
Yeah.
Or no,
it's the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. The Lady Cocks.
But yes. But
do the Lady Gamecocks have a different, like, are they just the chickens? Instead, because the gamecock is a rooster.
Yeah.
Are they just the South Carolina like game chickens?
Yeah. But anyway, we're going back to the most important of the things. Love us or hate us, doesn't matter. Michigan is the national champs, and Dusty May is in year 2. That's year 2. 2 years ago they were 8-24 with Juwan Howard, and now they are.
Don't forget they were punching other teams' players in the face.
Yeah, tied for second most wins in NCAA history, which is another thing. But I mean, I don't really care about that. I just care about that trophy that they have now. Awesome, just incredible. So I had to talk about that. And also tonight is the start of the Frozen Four. Their men's hockey could win it all, so
they could, but St. Cloud State is tough.
I mean, there are 2 Big Ten teams in there, so the Big Ten could absolutely sweep the major sports right now. I mean, probably not baseball, but yeah, I mean, Indiana won football. Men's and women. Big Ten won basketball. I believe they won.
Wait, is UCLA in?
Yes,
they're in the Big Ten. How is UCLA? Oh, that's right, because it's the Big 38.
It doesn't matter anymore,
dude. They're playing Denver.
Texas is in the SEC.
Hold on. They play Denver in the first round.
Yeah, I mean the Frozen Four is what it is. It's the best four.
No. It's North Dakota versus Wisconsin. North Dakota is definitely beating Wisconsin, and Denver's probably going to beat Michigan.
Anyway, the point is the matter is that Big Ten is just. I mean, like you had, I believe it was Penn State win the national championship in wrestling.
Yeah. Well,
or like
hold on, back to the Frozen Four. Back to the Frozen Four real quick.
What about
the 4 teams combined? Have 33 national titles.
That's a lot.
So Wisconsin has 6.
I was about to say, how many does Wisconsin have?
North Dakota has 8. Michigan has 9. And the 2026 Frozen Four champs, Denver, has 10.
Damn. That's awesome, Denver, going out in the first. I mean, it's not in the first round because the NCAA, playoffs or whatever you want to call it, or a few weeks ago. So
anyway.
Yeah, Michigan or Wisconsin is going to probably win, but it doesn't matter, honestly, considering that the most important thing for me was the Michigan basketball team winning it all. That's pretty much, I'm going to watch some of the game tonight, but again, Michigan won. They won it 2 years ago or 3 years ago in football. Now they win it in basketball. One of only 3 colleges that have multiple championships in basketball and football.
There you go.
So,
who's the other one? UCLA?
No. Michigan State and Florida.
Ew.
Yeah.
I mean, not Michigan to Florida. State, I don't really care about Florida, but
yeah, I know.
Like Michigan State were really Spartans. They would have been thrown off a cliff when they were born.
I mean, they probably should have. That's bad as their football program is right now.
Just saying. So, the interesting news: there was an Ohio State guy who got caught cheating on something. Finally,
I must not have. Oh, are you talking about the
Mike Vrabel cheating on his wife?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
they were just at a super romantic $2,000 a night resort and we're caught holding hands and dancing and canoodling.
So 2 things can be true. One, that is horrible behavior allegedly, and 2, and I've always thought this: people that take those pictures, you're slime. I mean, again, you're slime balls, because this isn't just for a situation of someone allegedly cheating on their spouses. They do this with people in their families, and you know what? You all suck, paparazzi. So
Yeah,
that's all I've got to say
dude.
about
I
that.
mean, Michigan as a state is gonna be good because the Pistons are gonna win the NBA championship.
Dude, I don't know if you saw that they were trying to foul OKC because they were in overtime and to save clock.
Yeah,
Refs wouldn't call it until they fouled SGA. I mean, it was clear fouls all over the place, and it's just like
that happened during the first round in March Madness. I forget which team it was. They were fouling the guy and they didn't call it.
It's just.
Dude, sports betting is a problem now that it's quote unquote legal.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, well. So anyway.
Well, Cade Cunningham's back, and he came back and he looked
did
really
see
good.
that, yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about like what we normally talk about on the show. Nerd shit.
I mean, come on, we always talk about sports.
That's true, but we do have a lot to get to. So this week we're talking about Maul, Shadow Lord, Invincible, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Daredevil Born Again, and the boys are back in town.
Yeah, that's a handful of stuff.
So we're gonna like speed run through a couple of these. Maul is gonna be one of those. Okay. So Darryl, it's called Maul Shadow Lord. Episodes 1 and 2 came out on the 6th. Written by Matt Michnovetz, Michnovetz, something, I don't know, and directed by Steward Lee, Saul Ruiz, and Nathaniel Villanueva. And then Saul Ruiz just directed the second one by himself. So the premise of this is after the rise of the Empire, Maul begins hunting members of the Shadow Collective who betrayed him. So these are the underground criminals who have kind of turned on him. And he and his followers are basically trying to get 2 of the crime lords to start fighting each other in the first episode. I guess the first 2 episodes. Anyway, so I gotta say, I really like the animation because I do like the animation, Clone Wars style animation. I will say that. It's too slow of a burn for however many episodes it's gonna be. Because it's not going to be a lot, I assume.
It's 10 episodes.
Yeah, too slow.
Which I thought it was going to be. I disagree with that, but I thought it was going to be like 6 episodes, though.
Yeah, I think that's what we said last week.
Yeah, and that's what. Let me double check because I saw
it's 10. Yeah, I'm on
Is it
Wikipedia
10?
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, the final episode comes out on Star Wars Day. So so it's 2 episodes this week, 2 episodes next week, 2 episodes the week after that, and 2 episodes on May the 4th.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, man.
So
throwing out 12-minute. Well, technically, to be fair, the first one was almost 30, but the second episode was very short.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 19 minutes was the show time. So the run time was like probably closer to 12 because there's a lot of end credits. Yeah. So I don't know. I was super excited about the idea of this show, and I guess I just kind of wanted to see like action from the jump, because it's Maul,
right.
and it's a little more of a political, like Maul's gonna like kill like the Pyke Syndicate, and like this is the rise of like Crimson Dawn or whatever his one is called. So I assume this is gonna go into like Solo at some point, like cross paths with Solo with Daenerys.
Yeah. So I actually did not know. I saw the one trailer, but I just was never sure what it was about. I actually liked it because I looked at it as it came across to me, and this was like toward the end where I kind of like put it together what it reminded me of. It was almost like that Nor. There are like Nor aspects of it,
Yeah.
with it, with the detective and or the
Yeah.
captain. You have Maul like trying to wipe out his gangster rivals,
Hmm.
guys that betrayed him. And so I get what you're saying as far as like wanting more action because I mean, Maul, come on, and I like the action in it. I actually liked the Vario guy. I thought he was pretty funny. He was a nice addition today. He was that sniveling
Yeah.
guy saying anything he can to save his life.
Right.
I am intrigued by the Jedi that Maul captured, or
Devon,
she's not a Jedi. Yeah,
the Padawan.
and
Well, like in
yeah,
her master, Echo Diodaki, it's just like he frustrated me to no end because he's exactly why the Jedi Order fell. And like
you know what?
honestly, he deserves to have his Padawan turn to the dark side.
Well, I was thinking similar thoughts, but again, there's two aspects to that. I mean, the obstinacy and the arrogance of the Jedi are why they fell. His What he was trying to instill in her, it was a good thing. It is a good thing. At the same time, you also have to be cognizant of it's not just about the goodwill of other people, it's what you're doing for yourself as well. And that I like that this dichotomy between him and Maul, who is living that life of doing for yourself.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he tells her, we have to kind of basically
The kindness of
expect or
strangers will.
kindness of
Yeah.
strangers.
So
Which again, that's a good idea, but again, what are you doing for yourself?
look,
And
from my perspective, the Jedi are evil. So, I'm just really sad Anakin missed this one in the temple. That's all. It's she's a kid. He could have
yeah, so
sliced and diced.
yeah,
No, I'm interested to see what happens with her versus Maul.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I want to see.
I
Yeah,
like she doesn't look like any of the Inquisitors, so like I don't think she's gonna go that way. This could be like our proto Darth Talon,
hmm
if we're looking at you know what's happening down the line. But yeah, I don't know. I thought for me it was a slow burn to start, which is fine. Like I'm not really like, oh god, it's got to be super fast. I just wanted to see like more Darth Maul, like just cutting people in half.
yeah. I mean, that's always a good thing.
It is. I mean, it's just great. But anyway, but yeah. So real quick, just so it's because it's 2 episodes. Out of everything, out of 10, everything I didn't know I didn't want. When do you give this one?
I give it a 7 out of 10. I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed it. I my biggest issue with some of these is sometimes they tend to they speed run
Yeah.
almost through episodes. It
Right.
seems like,
Yeah.
but I was actually pleasantly surprised. I hope it keeps this momentum because you have 8 episodes left. They gave us enough crumbs for me at least to still be intrigued with what's happening, but
Right.
I'm very intrigued and well not intrigued but curious about the end game and where this is heading. And I think you're right about tying to Solo
Yeah.
and what is her? I can't think of what her name was in
Kira.
Solo. Was it Kira?
Something. I don't.
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk. What are we on?
Oh, what
Invincible.
was your score?
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah. So let's talk Invincible here. So we're getting close to the end of the season. This was episode 6. It's an 8 episode season. This one is they're at war. It's they are they what am I trying to say here? They come across the Viltrumites and they get into battle. This is the aftermath of Conquest and Mark and their fight with Nolan and Oliver trying to help him. Meanwhile, like, you know, the rest of the galaxy is fighting with the Viltrumites, the Empire, and Alan and Zoe are playing video games on the back of a ship. And you know, I felt like kind of like I am right now because I'm trying to like focus in. Like I feel like this has been too far all over the place.
Yeah, and I get it because there's so much they're adapting. That happens from time to time in this show, even in the stuff we really like. It tends to happen. But again, I guess speed running is the word of the day because this is the third or fourth time we've used this. That's how this episode felt. Because if you know, last week we were talking about, you know, Mark's in the coma, Mark needs to heal. The best
Well,
thing
no.
would be
This
having.
is the week when Mark's in the coma. The whole episode.
Well, no,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is
Oh,
after
yeah,
the
yeah.
fight.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he's
Sorry.
for this episode,
Yeah.
he's in the coma, he needs to heal. So having him come back in the last couple minutes of the episode. But when the way they're trying to do things, and you just reminded me that this is 8 episodes, not 10.
Right.
I think that's how they've been.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact that it is 8 episodes and not 10, that does constrain some of, you know, the timeline. So they bring him back. Was it maybe halfway through the episode? A
No.
little bit.
These are
Was it a
50-minute
little bit?
episodes. I mean,
Yeah, a
he
little.
came back with like the last few. I do want to say he grew a beard, right? In the comic,
Yeah.
he grew like a real beard, and in this
Yeah.
one, it's a patchy, like stereotypical Asian guy Fu Manchu looking beard. And I'm like, dude, why they got to be so racist? But I was excited we got to see Space Racer in action.
Dude, that gun is OP.
Oh yeah,
That's freaking. I mean that's, you know, from the comics obviously, but like I've always thought like, dude, that gun is so OP.
the battle on whatever, Themyscira, Tuscara, however you say it. Well, that was kind of cool. I don't know. I think the whole Tila, or what's her name?
Tell
Telia.
I think.
Yeah, whatever. As like the general now, it's like throwing me off because like we don't really care about what the rest of the coalition's people are doing. Like the only coalition people we care about are Thetis and Alan.
Yeah.
For the most part. And so now they're doing all this other stuff, and like I don't. It's just like there's so much that you can just do from the comics to fill a 50-minute episode and not have to take away. The other thing they really disliked was, and this bodes back to the last episode, where Oliver's like mad about going, and then he's like mad about being there with Nolan because like this is where Nolan inviting Oliver along, coming back and being like, no, I want you to go. I want to spend time with you. Like you can take care of yourself. Like it was this angsty, like,
Yeah.
you know, Seth Rogen-y type conversation of just petulance. And then for them to like at the very end, right before Mark got better, they became buddies. And it's like,
Yeah, the thing I didn't like about that was, well, kind of what you said. It went on for so long because again, this was all much of last episode too, and it just look. This goes again to the point. Just because something could happen, you know, if you're talking about characters really happening, doesn't mean we want to see it on on the screen. You know, there are times you have to edit yourself and say, okay, this is a little much. How can we turn this around to get the same idea, the same emotion, but not have it go on and on and on?
right.
And then going back to Telia, I think that's how you say her name. But it goes. It's the same thing with Zoe. Again, like Zoe more in her role
Wow.
because
Yeah.
again, but but again, it's just change for the sake of change, and that's what that comes across
Yeah.
as. It was like, oh yeah, we need women in this, so, and I'm pretty sure that's what I read that they said
Right.
in this. So
But
yeah,
there's a
you have the
ton of
women.
women in this.
I was about to say you have the
So,
women, the Viltrumites.
yeah.
Why do we need, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, they already wasted the knife ponytail lady in the first season for no reason. You know, Anissa being in this episode was a little jarring. You know, so there, it's just, I think as a comic book reader, this show is not for us.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's frustrating because there are seasons of this we've really liked.
Oh yeah, the
Season
first
one we
three
did not
episodes
like.
of this season we really liked.
Yeah. Oh God. And that fourth episode. I think to your point, it's along the lines of, I don't know if you saw it, but apparently She-Hulk did better than people think. However, it was with casual audiences. The hardcore Marvel fans despised it,
Yeah.
and that's why they decided not to go for it. So, in that regard, I think there is the truth to that, where it's okay. These are for the casuals, which again, there's nothing wrong. It's not a derogatory thing.
No, and
Because
there's more casuals. Like
Yes,
I think there might be more hardcore Marvel fans than casuals, to be 100% honest.
yeah.
Because
Well,
it's almost 100 years old. It has an expansive universe, and Spider-Man is the fourth most popular superhero in the world.
yeah. Put it this way: there are a ton of people that know nothing about Invincible before this show.
I
came out.
most people know nothing about Invincible.
Most people, yeah.
Like most, because like Image is
Yeah.
Image is number 4 in the hierarchy of things. Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, then IDW,
Right.
and then everything else. Boom. Although I do like Boom. Boom does some good books. IDW does good books too. Anyway, but that being said, so I just think they ran through too much of this. The other thing was like, oh, well, we're losing all this ground. That's not true at all. They were winning, and that's why the Viltrumites attacked the main coalition world. And it's just like, okay, no, they've got you on the ropes. They're going to take everything then and leave you with nowhere to run.
Right.
And that's what the coalition was doing. They were taking everything. So the Viltrumites had nowhere to go. So they had to gamble and attack.
Right.
So it was fine. Like, I don't know. The thing I can say about this episode, it was fine.
Yeah. I liked the action in it. It was just some of the changes they made. Like, because this could have been a 4 out of 5 episode for me.
Yeah.
But like some of the changes they made just knocked it down, half a point.
Yep. All right. So out of 5, healing is slow going. What do you give this one?
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah. Again, it's some good stuff, really good stuff in it. But like I said, like we've discussed, some of the changes are a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I went
for changes for no reason. That's the other thing. It's changes that did not add to the story. It took away from the story.
Yeah, I went with a 3.38 because of all the detractions from what is a pretty great story as far as superheroes go. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one as we work our way through, because I want to get to the next 2 after this. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, episode 6. Where'd you go? This one was called Requiem. And there's some interesting stuff. We get to go back to the past. We get a couple different pasts in this one. Like we get some of Kintaro's more recent past, which was great. And then we get the like more of Lee and everything in the 50s. So, but I liked. Here's what I liked. I liked everything about Hiroshi and Kintaro. in this
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
Everything that Kintaro did in this episode, I actually really enjoyed, especially in the bar and especially on Skull Island. I liked his little hack to get under the electric fence with the log
With the look. Yeah.
with the little stick. So, but I did like this episode a lot actually. And I think they're going to give me what I've been asking for with the end.
What do you mean?
With the two versions of Lee at the same time.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I like, so it opens with Hiroshi's funeral, and we don't really have a whole lot. He talks about how when he's with Kintaro on Skull Island, he talks about how he accidentally went to Axis Mundi and he was only there for a couple of days, and it turned out he was gone for a year. That's why he was missing, and then he showed up in Africa. And then with the funeral, Kintaro obviously is like blaming Kate for his death, and then Dr. Suzuki shows up, and it took me a second to remember who he was, and that is an indictment of too long between seasons.
Absolutely.
Because
I had the same issue. I was racking my brain like, who is this guy?
Yeah. So, and it wasn't until they went to his house and they talked about who he was and how he developed they developed a plan with the Titan lore, or as he called it, the Titan phone. But I thought that was great. And like, I really liked Zook as as Lee calls him. I liked him and Kurt Russell's chemistry there. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, and speaking of Lee, we actually get to see Lee with his dad, and him when him stepping away from Keiko and Bill because of his feelings for Keiko, and him finding out that okay, maybe it's not greener on the other side. That's what he gets, with his his dad and the not animosity, but butting heads, and his dad not wanting him to make the same mistakes and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I found it very cool when you have that boomerang where what his dad says to him when they're at the dinner or at that brunch or lunch or whatever they are, and then Lee comes around in the future when him and Suzuki are going to test out Suzuki's invention.
Yeah.
He says those exact same words. I think it actually was reverse. He says those words, and then we get the flash back, and then you hear his dad say that.
Yep.
I like little things like that when a show or a movie puts little things like that in. It's like, oh, this is where this comes from, or and I like it the way they did it, where you hear the character say it, but then you go to the past and then you get it where he got that from.
Yeah. So, and I think this show's been really good at that. I do think this week got completely back on track with the story too.
Yes, I do too.
We got away from we got a little bit of the Apex stuff with Kintaro, and I'm interested to see the fallout from that next week. But yeah, the whole opening the Hollow Earth tunnel, and the phone call from the past was really interesting.
Yeah. That was a good way to end things, and just that actually made me look forward to this week's episode.
Yeah. So, because here's the thing, if he can go back and fix something, maybe Hiro doesn't die.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we just don't know. I want to know how they approach the whole thing, because again, time dilation has been a thing with
it's all the relativity,
the hollow earth and the relative and all that stuff. It's been a thing. So how do they write it into the mythos of this show for this story? That's where that's what I'm looking forward to seeing how they do things.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So out of 5, talking to your past and the present, what do you give this one?
3.7 out of 5. Like you said, it gets the story back on track, and there was a lot less this episode that I didn't like versus other episodes. As much as I've had issues with Kate, I actually didn't mind what we were seeing with her. It for me, it makes her a semi-interesting character instead of a whiny brat.
Yeah, because
That's useless.
Kiko took her and like said, okay, let's experiment. Let's figure out what's happening here. And like they're figuring that out. I give it a 4.11 out of 5. I also am more forgiving of this show, I think, than you are. Not like in a bad way or anything. I just because I really do like this show a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And so I give it more leeway because in the 2.5 seasons ish so far, or 1.5 seasons so far, I feel like we've gotten really good storytelling the majority of the time. The vast majority of the time.
I think a lot. No, I don't even think. Most of my issues revolves around Kate's character, and sometimes, like, it leaves a dark stain on what could be even a solid story. It doesn't have to be good, but a solid story for me. And that's why this episode was a little bit higher, because instead of doing what they have been doing with Kate, and because or if you remember last week, I was kind of, on the fence about what I thought about, having her having potential connection with Titan X. The way they showed this past week's episode makes me say, okay, let's see where you go with it. But you know what? You have my attention now.
Yeah. And I was here for it 100%. So
yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's you gave your rating. All right, let's move on to Daredevil Born Again. This is episode 4, Gloves Off. I definitely liked this episode much more than last week.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
This was the first episode I think I was like fully engaged in as well.
100% agree.
And part of that is like we get Dex at the beginning, Deadshot, luring the vigilante task force to a diner, and it's just like epic kill after epic kill.
Dude, I love what we're getting with him.
Yeah. And then Mr. Charles is confronting Fisk about the weapons delays from the Red Hook. That was really interesting because like Mr. Charles thought he had everything under control, and then Fisk is like, I'm the captain now. So, but yeah.
No, I 100% agree. I right now my favorite character on this show is Bullseye. Like far and
just
away.
After this one episode with him back.
I mean, it like everything he was doing, and I love the discrepancy between him just murdering people left and right and him being nice to his neighbor and her dog. Like that was. I mean, I like stuff like that because there was a little bit of levity.
Wait, the neighbor and the cat. The dog was at the diner.
Yeah. The dog was at the diner.
Yeah, he gave the cat a fried egg.
Yeah,
he's a good egg.
I really like that. I mean, again, I didn't mind the Daredevil Karen stuff or Karen in this episode, even though I wasn't a huge. I mean, I loved her in the original series. Her in the original series. I just really haven't liked what we've seen of her so far in this season. The other thing I have not liked, and they went all in on it this episode, is framing Vanessa as basically the power behind the Kingpin.
Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, I'll get to that because I have thoughts on that.
So, okay, here's I look at it differently. I look at it as so you know how mutants have the control collars?
Yes.
She's Fisk's control collar. She keeps him from going full Parker Posey.
Well, I could get along with that because that's how, honestly, if you go back to the original Netflix series, that seems to be how
Well,
she
even in the
was.
comics and
Yeah. I mean,
like
that's how she came
yeah,
across.
right.
So in that regard, I would 100% agree, except when she's meeting with the governor and the governor mentions you could do, and again, I correct me if I'm wrong because I might have missed something. And if I missed something, just correct me because she was talking about how she could have done all of this without him.
She's just the governor's just a misandrous, and so I feel
So
like Vanessa just played into that.
that could be a good point. It's just I don't know. There's some things I didn't like about what she because like I said, just like with Karen, I actually really like Vanessa in the original
Mm-hmm.
Netflix series. I mean, to you, exactly what you said, she was that collar to
Mm-hmm.
just hold Fisk back just enough,
Right.
which is great. But also they made her own character. She wasn't just a side piece
Well,
or a showpiece.
you know why that is.
What?
So the way Netflix tells stories and the way Disney tells stories are two very different
Yes,
things.
you're
And
absolutely
Disney
yes.
has to combine everything down into one stereotype or
There's
personality
no
trait,
nuance.
or there's zero. It's all black or white here.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to see gray in Vanessa just from the experience we've had with her. And the lady that plays Vanessa is awesome. And hello. Um, so
She's Clark. She's a Superman's mother.
yeah, so she's still a dime piece. Anyway, um,
Okay, Christian.
but Christian,
See what he said to FTR? He visited their mothers.
oh yes, banged
And
them
when I
both.
say visiting, I mean I banged
I
them
banged them
both.
both. Anyway, this is what a side note. 100% his greatest gimmick, and he's had some great gimmicks. Don't get me wrong.
It is awesome.
So, but yeah, and here's the thing: is I think we get a boxing match between Kingpin and Daredevil later in the season, according to what it looked like in the preview. But who is going to let their world champion boxer do a promotional boxing match with the mayor of New York City?
I That was the most suspension of disbelief in this episode I had to take.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, here's the thing: is like one, Vincent D'Onofrio's arms are jacked.
dude, his freaking forearms,
Yeah.
man.
So the other thing is that Kingpin, like, he is impervious to certain things because he's so big. So we know he's going to win. We know it's not going to be an instance. Super simple, barely an inconvenience, right? But I love that they put him in all white.
Oh yeah,
And it made me
yeah.
think, and I'm wearing my Maxwell Jacob Freeman t-shirt today. I'm better than you and you know it. And but it reminded me of when he wore all white in the one dog collar match, just so he could show all the carnage he caused.
Oh
So, or maybe it was
well,
against Kenny Omega.
yeah.
But
I actually was thinking that excuse me, Kingpin was wearing all white like that. He should have come out to whoop that trick.
whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that trick. No, he should have come out like Obafemi. Dum, 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 dum. I switched my alarm clock to "Here Comes the Money."
Here
Shane
comes the
O'Mac.
money.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
money, 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 money.
I know I got to get up and just start doing the dance first thing. Anyway, so all right, so Dex and Matt meet in in Matt's old church, and he's telling him that he's gonna do one good deed to make up for what he did. And Matt is so irrational here, and I don't like. I understand it, but like we haven't gotten a really irrational Matt Murdock since the first season of the show. When he's like, you don't even say his name, and it's like, and he's like, you're gonna martyr Fisk, and he's like, I don't care, I'm just gonna kill him,
Yeah.
and I thought that scene in the church should have been so much more because Matt's about giving everyone else second chances.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it's like, well, Dex can't have a second chance. Heaven forbid. But I do think, oh, sorry, good.
Well, it's going back to your point about how Disney writes scenes, writes characters, and writes shows. And again, I know there are probably examples that are contrary to this, but it's a lack of nuance a lot of times with this stuff. It's how many times we've said in real life, two things can absolutely be true at one time. You want to stop Bullseye, but you also even if you don't want to kill Fisk,
Right,
you have to admit that would end part of the problem, even though it's not the right way for you. You don't think it's the right way to go. Like the way they've used his, faith in this versus the way Netflix did. I mean, it's a clear indication of your point about, that the black and white
right,
and no gray,
yeah.
or just the black. The things are black or white.
I just thought of something else that I had to really suspend my disbelief on in this episode is when he drew the bullseye symbol on the door with the Heinz upside down ketchup bottles. One, you're not getting those clean of lines with that without using your fingers. And two, like what diner in New York is using that? They're using the old school red and yellow mustard. And anyway, sorry.
Yeah. And the other thing I did not like, and it was actually right before something I did like, is he was surrounded by those agents in the diner. Doesn't take a shot, and you're telling me Vanessa is the one that gets the shot on him?
Oh, you mean at the end?
That was, yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
Come on, just come on, people. And again, it wasn't like he had his back turned either. Which, okay, if
no, he's looking right at her.
He's looking right at her.
So,
what are we doing here? Writing a stupid ass scene like that?
Well, again, it's the misandry of the writers.
Like,
so,
good grief.
I mean, this episode was written by a woman named Chantel M. Wells. I bet if I look her up, let's just do a quick search on Miss Wells here. Producer, writer. Let's look at her IMDb. Oh, she was a writer on 2 episodes of Echo. She was writer on an episode of Yellow Jackets, which I've not seen. She was writer on 2 episodes of Good Girls, which is middling or fair. And then she was a writer on 8 episodes of Jane the Virgin. So yes, she's definitely qualified to be a consulting producer and writer on Daredevil.
It all makes sense now.
So anyway.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is why we can't have nice things. But anyway, so the episode comes to a close with, I thought it, and I really like the visual of it, is him taking his championship belt, kind of like The Rock's People's Championship bullshit belt from Muhammad Ali's wife that he paid them for, and smash the ornament. And I'm like, oh, when we see Vanessa again, I didn't even have to know what was going to happen. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Although, I'm going to be honest, I thought there was going to be many, 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 many more pieces of glass making her bleed all over that pretty white dress.
Yeah. So I thought the same thing. And then when we didn't get it right away, I know it was like only a few seconds, but I'm like, oh, they're not going to do it. I thought for sure. And then it was like, okay, yeah, they did it.
Oh, no. I thought when we didn't get it all right away, he was going to turn around and she was going to be on the floor dead, not getting a scene where she's like,
yeah,
I feel faint. I've got a headache. I've really got something in my mind.
Okay.
Why am I leaking? Anyway, all right. That was it. All right. So out of 5, Poindexters are always on target. What do you give this one?
3.63 out of 5. Similar to Monarch, that this episode captured my interest more than what came before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the first episode at all. The second episode did some stuff that was solid. I think overall this episode was really got me back into the flow because I actually wasn't really looking forward to watching this.
Yeah.
Like I think I was other than Maul, because I knew Maul was only 20-minute episodes. I watched this one last. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
I watched. I put Monarch off till last, but I was definitely not excited to watch this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I gave it a 3.98 out of 10 out of 5. Like this is, to me, this is best episode of the season so far.
Yes.
Hopefully the story picks up and we keep going. And I'm pretty sure Angela just got Karen and Angela just got BB killed.
Yes.
So anyway, all right, let's move on to the main event. The boys are back, Darryl. The boys are back. You and I definitely had very similar views about these first 2 episodes. And I think that I really think they turned it around in the second half of the first episode.
Yes.
If you agree there.
Yes, because I was one of those. I did not like season 4.
Yeah.
Not Gen V, because I like Gen V. But season 4 of The Boys, I did not like.
Right.
There were some parts of it I liked, obviously, but overall, I thought it just did not work for me. And the first, was it 20 minutes or so of this episode of this season, I was thinking, oh, we're going down the same route, except that it was more along the lines of story, and just it was structurally, it just nothing flowed in those first 20 minutes. And then as the episode went on, it's like, okay, it's gathering momentum. And then you had the second episode, which I really liked. But I think these 2 episodes combined so far have gotten me back to what I was a few years ago with The Boys, when I really liked it.
I think, and I'm gonna let you correct me if you think I'm wrong here. I think the reason for that is there were actual stakes in these 2 episodes, and there was a payoff for those stakes.
I would agree with that.
And we haven't gotten a lot of that recently. It's been a lot of like stakes, but then like there's no consequences to those stakes. There's no outcome.
It's almost like the stakes previously were more set up for what we're going to get this season.
Maybe. And I don't know. It's so it's been a year, and Homelander is like in total control, I guess, of the US. Annie, with her weird Skeletor face, leaks the Flight 37 video of him and Maeve leaving all those people to die. And then, of course, they're all like, it's AI. Look at his hand. Why does he have an extra finger? I don't know. Maybe because your AI added that. But yeah. And then you've got Huey, Marvin, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie are in the prison camp. They're going to get executed. And then Butcher's just out doing what Butcher does, which I actually kind of really enjoy, that he's a complete loose cannon at this point. And then we get Kimiko, and it was off-putting because she talks, and it's not the voice I expected to come out of that head.
Yeah.
And then you have Annie, who is unrecognizable. Jen was like, is that the same actress? I'm like, yes.
It does. Yeah. You go back and look, and again, I know people grow and change, but not that much in that short a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is really weird. I don't. Again, let me just focus on the other stuff.
Yeah.
One, going back to Kamiko, that voice is so off-putting, and because it almost comes across like ADR,
Right.
like somebody dubbed, and I don't know if they did that or not,
I
but I
don't
mean,
know.
it's like I listened to because I wanted to know, so I like looked up the actress herself,
Well, I went back and
and
watched Suicide Squad and I was like, oh shit, Katana didn't talk.
yeah,
Damn it.
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's funny, but it was so off-putting, like. And that was part of the issue with me in the first part of like there's just so
Yeah.
much stuff that was off-putting for me in those first half of, or actually first third of episode 1. But it righted the ship, it got its balance, and you have every character. Annie's she feels guilty because all these starlighters are imprisoned, or some of these cells are getting taken out. You have mother's milk, Mark, who's just feels hopeless. And dude, by the way, you didn't tell me his name was Mother's Milk.
I didn't?
And then Homelander licks his
Oh,
lips.
that,
That was
yeah.
freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I like in the next episode. Can I get you a glass of milk? Anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, so they're going to be Huey, and Frenchie are going to get executed, and so they got to get him out because one, Frenchie's the only one who can work with the virus, which we find out why later on, and yeah, so Annie goes to, or I guess they go to A Train and they try and convince him, and he's like, "I got people, man. I'm not gonna, like, the power bottom that is Huey Campbell doesn't need to be saved." But yeah, so I do like that they got a guy named the Worm to take their tunnel
Dude, like their obsession.
with butts. With butt stuff
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. Like, come on.
So we did
Like, are you
like
trying to tell us something, Kripke?
yeah, he likes butt stuff. Anyway, I do like I did like that the camp, like, it was like a greatest hits of the craziest heroes as the guards. You had the lady who blew everybody up with her mind. You had Love Sausage. But yeah, I did find it, you know what, it's just I'm having a hard time separating like Huey from Jack Quaid, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like because he looks like a smelly hippie, like I'm like, yeah, you're just like, but like he's trying to help that lady, and instead of being like, here, just stay, or talking to her, like he definitely lets her get laser eyed through the middle of her forehead by not protecting her, by letting her, freak out. But like Kamiko gets split in half, and then her and Frenchie are making out, and I'm like, this is like, one, it was very funny at first, right? But then they just kept making out in the corner, like while they're supposed to be escaping. And then Huey getting mad that Annie didn't save him first, I thought was the biggest cuck move that cuck Huey could make.
Well, he did get, picked up by her while he's falling out of the sky in the second episode.
Yeah. So, and he was mad about that. He was mad about it.
And that reminded me of Invincible. Like,
Yeah.
this is so gay.
This is so gay. But so though, while everybody's running around and getting out, what does he do? He gets some payback against Love Sausage. Now, he gets a penis to the face again, but he chokes him out Leia style.
Yeah, he does.
So, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. I I agree. I think the first episode was like really unbalanced until the end. But A Train, shockingly to me, comes and saves the day.
Yeah. And I will say this, the way they do his story and how they do his end, it's so good in the way of how things come around, because all of this started when he was running and he obliterated Robin
Yeah, just ran right through her.
in the first app, ran right through her.
Well, it's funny because
And
when he was running and Jen's like, "Oh, he's gonna run through her," I'm like, "No, he's gonna miss. He's gonna miss her, and that's how he's gonna get caught."
yeah, yep.
So
I thought that, and again, that if you didn't realize or if you weren't sure, that's a way to show, the change in this character.
show don't
And
tell.
his demise, his demise ends up being because he's changed. And the thing that got, like I said, the thing that started all of this, not caring and running through someone is the same thing on the other way that gets him killed. Caring and not wanting to run through someone and then just just wiping out.
Right.
And I love how he faces it though, where he's like, I don't know why I was so afraid of you.
Yeah.
And I mean, he really gets to Homelander with the things he says to him.
Yeah.
You can tell, like I mean,
well, and as we get into the next episode with his funeral, like it definitely got to Homelander.
Right. And it's that reminder, and again, and this is not an excuse. Like I said, two things can be true. Like the horrible way that he was raised in the lab with the scientists. I mean, the guy is mentally unbalanced, as mentally unbalanced as you can be, and he's a guy with all that power. And also Anthony Starr, the way he plays this role is just so incredible, and like just how he's able to foster an air of fear and terror while also allowing snippets of you to feel bad or feel pity for him at times too. I mean, that is like really talented acting there.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's a great actor. Like if you haven't watched Banshee yet or The Covenant,
watch that.
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Oh yeah,
he's really good in that.
Yeah, I really need to see Banshee.
Yeah, Banshee's great. Like it was on Cinemax. That's why I never watched it, because I never had Cinemax.
Cinemax, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, but yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. It was an uneven first episode, but then the second episode like really kind of came back around from start to finish, because they had, I feel like, an actual goal.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's okay. We have everybody. We have Frenchie. Now we can finish up, getting this virus, putting the finishing touches on it. And then once we do that, we're going to have to test it out on somebody. Some poor unlucky soul. Some poor unlucky suit.
Some poor unfortunate soul. Anyway. Yeah, and then Dr. Shaw's back, and they lie to him about Victoria's death, obviously, and that his daughter's still, is she dead?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If
she was in Gen V. I don't think she's dead.
No, because she was with Gus
Fring.
Right, yeah.
So, but I like how they dug deeper into the boys' mythology with the whole teenage kicks thing, with the house. And I did like how like just the teenage kicks kids were basically just social media influencers, right? With superpowers. Right. But we got Slipstream back, who was in, Gen V, or we saw him again, or yeah. But I will say, like, there was too much just kind of running around in this episode. I think, I mean, I know, like, what we think happened to Soldier Boy didn't happen to him based on the very, very end of the show. But, like, bringing Soldier Boy back like that and then just kind of using him barely, I thought was, one, you want more of him. But two, I assume he's just going to go infect a whole bunch of heroes now.
Yeah. And also, yeah, I was, when that happened with him, I was very, very irritated. Like, you can't tell me you bring Jensen Ackles back Soldier Boy back for that.
Well, I think you
And
do
also,
if we know that Sam and Castiel are going to be on episodes later this season. Like one, like yeah, that would be funny to do.
and also, again, going back to Anthony Starr and Super Homelander, he's like when he's watching, looking at his body, he's like, why did you leave? Why does everybody always leave me? And again, this guy is a horrible, horrible character in the sense of his actions,
Yeah,
and he does such a good job. I felt bad for him in that moment.
yeah, I didn't.
I mean, Anthony Starr is. I mean, he's just great.
Yep,
Like he's just amazing actor.
agreed. Um, but yeah, I definitely think watching both of these shows is 100% like necessary. Um, the the litter box in She-Line's room and the hairball. I don't know if I hated or loved it, but I definitely laughed at both of them.
Yeah, dude, rock hard. Dude, they said what he
Oh,
did to the
with the
hit
lava.
the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So
Was it Lincoln's ear or Jefferson's ear?
Lincoln's ear. No, it wasn't Mouse Run. It was at the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh,
And
but dude,
yeah. So
again, like
yeah,
it reminded me of like the way he was. It reminded me of that vampire from Blade
Pearl.
that was Earl. Yeah.
I only, you know why I know that off the top of my head is because I just watched all 3 Blade episodes last week. In the last week.
Oh, really? I actually was thinking of watching Blade.
All right. I don't understand why people like to.
I actually like to.
I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
this is only the 3rd time I've watched it. Like, I typically skip 2 and just watch 1 and 3.
Oh, see, I actually like 3 is my least favorite. But
Oh, I mean, it's horrible. It's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong,
But I
but,
still like
like,
it.
I still like
I
it.
still like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So they end up like, getting the virus out. I like how it's just the one drop. I did like the ruse that Huey played with the empty jar. I thought that was good. But yeah, I think as a whole, the second episode, like, it had a beginning, middle, and end to it, which most of the boys' episodes do have.
Right.
But it was all pushing towards the end of the show. And we only have 8 episodes of this season.
Yeah.
So
And I'm hoping this is one of those, like, there's too many shows we've seen over the last couple years where we have 8 episodes or maybe even 10, and you have filler type episodes. I'm hoping 1,000%. I'm hoping that we don't get that here, and we just, because I don't know if we really can, considering, like, because the Gen V folks are supposed to be in this too, right?
eventually, yeah. So I mean, there's going to be a hero civil war.
Yeah.
Which is not like we're so far off the reservation from what happened in the comics.
Yeah.
And not I don't think you could do what this was in the comics, but also at this point Homelander's been dead for like 25 issues.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I stopped reading after like 10 issues. I just didn't like the comic.
Because it is even more gratuitous than the show. Yes.
Yeah. But I know a lot of stuff would happen. Yeah. I mean, not all the way through, not to the end, I actually don't. But it was funny because I was wondering, and again, I knew they weren't going to do it, but a part of me was morbidly curious to see if they were, when Homelander and Huey were in the barracks alone.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, he's not going to do the Black Noir thing to him, is he?
I mean,
yes.
He probably should have, but
still, that mother's milk line.
Yeah.
Was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. When he's like, get me a Manhattan. Or no, he asked for a Manhattan. And he's like, sir, would you like a glass of milk? He's like, I'll have a Manhattan too.
Anyway. Oh, man.
All right. Yeah, so.
Yes.
Sorry.
We're in our ratings now.
Yeah, we're in our ratings. So out of 10, Getting beaten to death with your own love sausage. What do you give this one?
Oh, that's a bad way to go.
That's a-
7.3 out of 10.
Nice. I did a 7.8, so we're pretty close here. I definitely liked the start of this season more than season 4.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, and again, like I said, this had kind of reinvigorated me into being interested into looking forward, not even being interested, looking forward to what's coming next.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add? Oh, I guess we do have a birthday. So, Greg Stein, happy birthday. If you listen, if you didn't listen, you owe me a Sally's pizza. Anyway.
When was his birthday?
Today.
Oh, okay. So he's 3 days removed from his birthday present, national championship from Michigan Wolverines.
Anyway.
And everything comes back to that.
I mean,
it's gonna be like
got your birthday. You got your birthday present a whole 8 months early.
Yeah. So.
Because they sure don't win football anytime soon.
They won the national championship 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then that coach left and went to San Diego, and then their other coach got fired after a year from impregnating and harassing a staffer.
Which is so funny because their football program has failed upward. Their coach now is far and away.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Far and away better than what they had. Which, how do you fail upward in that? Like, that's just like everything aligning right. Oh, and Utah University, or I don't know if it's University of Utah, Utes, whatever.
UU.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for wanting to move on from Kyle Whittingham.
We're going to leave it at that note. So thank you all for listening. We'll try and deprogram Darryl. We'll make him a Buckeye fan at some point.
You disgust me.
I'm not even a Buckeye fan. Anyway, all right. You'll have a great week. We'll be back next week. Remember, be infamous. The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.